What if I told you the smartest people in history looked dumb first? Most people are terrified of looking stupid. We all want to appear sharp, have the right answers, and never admit, I don't know. But honestly, has that ever made you smarter? Or has it only made you defensive, anxious, and closed off from learning? Here's the paradox. The harder you try to look intelligent, the worse your thinking becomes. The moment you allow yourself to look clueless, your mind opens up. Why? Because pretending to be smart usually means you're just protecting what you already know. You cling to opinions. You talk more than you listen. You fill gaps with assumptions just so you don't look lost. That's how learning dies. But acting dumb flips the script. It means admitting what you don't know, asking simple questions, exploring without ego. And that's where real insight happens. Psychologists call this the beginner's mind. Children do this naturally. They ask why again and again. Annoying, yes, but it's also why they learn faster than adults. Adults stop because we're embarrassed to seem dumb. But here's the twist. The genius thinkers never stopped. Think about history's biggest breakthroughs. They didn't begin with someone flexing knowledge. They started with childlike questions. Why does an apple fall? Why does light bend? Why does the sky change color? These dumb questions cracked open entire fields of science. So how can you use this paradox in your own life? At work, someone explains a process you don't fully understand. Old move, nod, pretend you get it, then struggle in silence. New move, act dumb. Ask the obvious question. Can you walk me through that again? For a moment, you might feel exposed, but guess what? Most people in that room had the same question. You just became the only one brave enough to get clarity. In relationships, your partner says, you don't get it. Old move, defend, argue, insist you do. New move, act dumb, say, you're right. I don't fully understand. Can you explain? That so-called dumb move doesn't make you weak. It unlocks real understanding and makes you look smarter because you listened. Even in creativity, the people willing to look dumb are the ones who experiment, throw out wild ideas, and fail often. Most ideas collapse, but one breaks through. Play it safe and try to look smart, and you'll never touch that edge. So what's happening here psychologically? When your identity is tied to being the smart one, your ego becomes a prison. You reject new ideas. You refuse to admit mistakes, and that keeps you stuck. But once you give yourself permission to look clueless, ego defenses drop. You're free to absorb, test, and actually think. Here's a simple practice. Next time you're learning something new, try explaining it to a 5-year-old. If you can't, admit it. Ask the so-called dumb questions until you can. That's not weakness. It's clarity. Even Einstein said, if you can't explain it simply, you don't understand it well enough. Remember, genius often looks dumb at first. Another practice. Flip your assumptions. Instead of starting with, I already know, start with, what if I know nothing? That tiny shift changes everything. You see details others miss. You notice patterns they miss. You think from the ground up instead of layering guesses. And science backs it up. Studies show people with a beginner's mindset generate more creative solutions than those who rely only on expertise. Expertise narrows thinking. Curiosity expands it. Acting dumb forces curiosity. So let me ask you, what would happen if you stopped performing intelligence? What if you started asking the questions everyone else is too afraid to ask? Here's the paradox. The smartest move you can make is to stop trying to look smart. Act dumb, ask, listen, experiment. That's how you cut through assumptions and actually think like a genius. Because acting dumb doesn't mean you are dumb. It means you're bold enough to go past appearances and reach the truth. And truth, no matter how awkward or how simple, is always where genius begins. If you're still watching, it means this message connected with you. So don't stop here. Press like, hit subscribe, and let's rise together.